Hello and welcome to a 30-minute yoga flow. I'm Samantha Harden and I am a 500-hour registered yoga teacher. I'm also an associate professor of human nutrition, foods, and exercise at Virginia Tech and the Virginia Cooperative Extension exercise specialist. I've created this 30-minute flow to reduce any tension in the shoulders and upper back, as well as the lower back. This is something that a lot of us who are seated often or those who hold tension in those parts of the body and may be experiencing a lot, maybe a lot more now, or maybe just want to feel how release might feel in the body. I'll invite you to get started lying on your back, however that feels comfortable for you. So maybe you have multiple props, maybe you have none, coming onto a mat or just onto the floor. We'll lie down with the back pressing into the earth and the legs out in front of us. Maybe dripping the shoulders down and back. Settling in here for a few breaths, perhaps the toes flop out to the side. And just notice the parts of your body that are in contact with the ground. Let them sink more into whatever texture, fabric, material is beneath you. Let the head be heavy and the breath be natural. Perhaps staying here thinking about the low body, or start to think about the front of the body lifting away, being open, floating. So a lift of the front of the body and a sink of the back of the body, with your breath flowing in between that space. Hands can be wherever it feels comfortable for you. Right now, I'm choosing to have my hands on my low belly just to feel the breath, feel myself settle. Releasing any tension in the jaw, coming into this moment. Maybe letting go of any distractions, any needs that aren't right here in the present moment. Take one full breath in. Part the lips and sigh out of the mouth. Full breath out. Bring the legs together, toes towards the sky, so flexing at the ankles, active through the feet. Left leg is strong. Right leg comes in towards the chest. Perhaps the heel drops towards the buttocks and the right thigh comes in towards the chest. Maybe binding over the shin or perhaps behind the right thigh as you use your biceps or the front of your upper arms to pull your right leg in and down. Keep pressing through your left heel, the one that's lengthened towards the front of the room, to really press the back of the left leg onto the earth. Feel a slight tuck of the low belly, engaging the entire pelvic girdle. Find stability here. If all those words were a lot, just let that go and just breathe and be. Maybe squeezing the right knee closer towards the chest as you let the compression between the chest and the thigh deepen. From here, option to lift the foot as if you're stomping or stamping onto the ceiling. On every inhale, think length in the back right hamstring, so the back of the right thigh. And on every exhale, think bringing the right thigh towards the chest. So inhale, kick and lengthen, and exhale, sigh into that space. Perhaps your leg is more here today. That's great. So think about kicking through the heel and then bringing in through the thigh. Finding your range of motion Staying active in the left foot, left heel. Wherever you are, coming back to neutral. So trying to bring the heel, knee, and hip all in line. And then bend at the knee, ankle is in line with the knee, and then let the right knee come across the body. Keep the hips squared for now. So we're active here, holding our leg in space, engaging in the low belly, maybe feeling a stretch along the outer right thigh, breathing as though you're pressing your low back into the mat, keeping the hips square. One more deep breath cycle here. And then on your exhale, let the knee come all the way across the body and the hips rise up. So now we're in a big twist, perhaps feeling some release of tension or more activation in the back body. I'll invite you to keep both shoulders on the ground. So that might mean the right knee is really high up towards the ceiling or the sky. Or perhaps if the twist feels good for you and you can keep the right shoulder planted, you can bring the right knee closer towards the mat. So I'm going to stay here about halfway, keeping both shoulders on the mat, feeling a release in the low back, greeting the stretch across my right thigh. Deep breath in. Exhale, let the right knee sink towards the ground, right shoulder sink into the earth. Maybe let go of the doing and find the balance between effort and ease. Reflex if you aren't there right now with your left leg, and use your core to bring the low back onto the earth. So go as slowly as you need to come back to center, and right knee comes back into the chest. If you'd like, one more time to straighten, perhaps binding behind the thigh or gripping 2 fingers around the big toe and lengthening along the right hamstring. Deep breath in. On your exhale, slowly lower. See if you can go perhaps slower than me, if that's a helpful challenge or cue. If it's not, just go as slow as you can, thinking about holding the leg in space as you're slowly lowering. Feeling what's activating, being present, and then let go. Perhaps feeling as though the right leg is longer than the left leg now. Flex the right toes towards the nose, active in the right quad. Lift the left knee in towards the chest now. Perhaps finding around the left shin or behind the thigh, whatever variation feels good for you to just land here. Thinking about kicking through the right heel, the right leg is pressing into the mat. On every inhale and exhale, you feel the compression between the left side of the torso and the left thigh. Breathe. From here, lifting the left leg towards the sky. Squeeze the left thigh in towards the chest, and then straighten the leg, kick the heel towards the sky. So either find stillness or movement as you continue to lengthen the back of the left leg while also compressing left thigh into left side of the torso. And again, maybe your variation is here, just working on being active in the toes, active in the back of the leg. Final round. Exhale. And bring the ankle, knee, and hip all in one line one more time. Then from here, bend in the knee, ankle and knee in line. and then bring the left knee across the body. Again, we're trying to keep both hips square and the low belly planted on the ground to start. Just see where you feel a little bit of lengthening, a little bit of tension, but no pain. As you continue to engage your musculature to keep your leg steady. One more deep breath cycle. And then exhale, keeping both shoulders on the ground, perhaps goalposts or 90-degree angles in the arms, and let your left knee come over to the side and your hips lift up. In order to keep both shoulders on the ground, maybe your knee is closer towards the ceiling, or if you have that amount of rotation, perhaps the knee is coming closer towards the ground. If you like, try not to be forceful here. Try to be restful here. Thinking about the back of the body sinking into the earth and the front of the body lifting towards the ceiling or sky. And you are breathing in the space between. Using the core, not the momentum of the left leg, come back to center, low hips plant, readjust, and then one more time, left knee in towards the chest, perhaps straightening the leg, using the biceps to squeeze the thigh into the torso, and then slowly exhale. Be on your count, but be intentional about the heel floating through space. Feel when you feel engagement, acknowledge it and let it go. And then let the heel greet the earth. Let the toes flop in, the toes flop out. And just rest, noticing any difference in the hips, the thighs, the hamstrings. And a mere few moments ago, deep breath in, exhaling and melt. Deep breath in, exhale, melt. On your next inhale, effort, feet stamp into the ground, so knees come towards the sky. Perhaps you can do that in one movement, or maybe left and right, or right and left. Knees are towards the sky, feet are on the ground, back body still released into the earth. Separate all of your toes. Keep that space between the toes and then grip the mat or the ground beneath you. See if your fingertips can get close to the heels, so perhaps moving the buttocks closer to the heels to make that efforting happen. Shoulders on the ground. Hands can plant next to the hips. Press into the heels, press into that grip of your feet, and lift your hips up into the sky. So press into the heels. So the glutes are engaged, but they're not the powerhouse of the move. The feet are. So really be active through the feet. Press into the finger pads. Lift the chest over the nose. Keep breathing. And then slowly lower down all the way until the sacrum or the triangle at the base of your spine hits the earth. And then we're going right back up. Lift up, press up. Heels press into the ground, hips lift up. It's a subtle move, but there's a lot of effort here. Slowly lowering. And last time, going at your own pace, slowly releasing and then reactivating. Lift your chest. Exhale, slowly lower. So feet are about hip distance apart if the fingertips are close to the heels. Right leg lifts up, bend at the knee, and cross the right ankle
over the left thigh. So the ankle is aiming towards outside of the thigh instead of right on the thigh. That'll help with a little bit of the bone muscle compression, if that works in your anatomy. Staying right here, you can perhaps use your right hand to press your right thigh away from you. If that doesn't feel like enough for today, you can bring your left thigh in towards the left side of your torso. Readjust here, squaring the hips, squaring that triangle at the base of your spine onto the ground. Finding behind the left thigh or on top of the left shin, whichever feels good for you. Maybe try a breath or two in each to see which one works for your anatomy better. If you're now in this reclined figure four, perhaps pressing the right thigh away from you using your own right elbow, or just activating pressing the thigh away from you. Right foot is active. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Staying here for a nice juicy stretch, or plant the left thigh onto the ground and we'll reactivate a little bit of work with our stretch. So we're coming into a modified bridge. So the left foot is going to be really, really strong and purposeful here, your base, and then your whole lower body and your core are going to lift up. So we still have the figure four, right leg over left, press into your left foot, press into your heel, lift your hips up. Try to bring your right knee in line with your left knee. Maybe it's all the way up towards the sky, but that's the activation, trying to lengthen in the right front hip. Press the hips up by pressing into the left heel. Activate, try to bring the right knee down. If you're still in the reclined figure four, just breathing. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Stay right here, or just a little more of a press and a push. Lift the right leg towards the sky, active through the toes. Lift the hips, lower the hips. Lift the hips twice more. So lift up, activate, lower down. Last time, wherever you are, breathing. Come back through your figure four, lower the hips. Everybody can release the right foot from the left foot, knock the knees in, feet come wide on the mat. Perhaps left hand on the heart, right hand on the belly. Just feel what that efforting does to your body. Breathing in and out. Rebuild. So the knees and the ankles come about hip distance apart, reaching for the heels again, pressing the hips into the earth. We'll find two more bridges as kind of a neutralizer. So again, separate the toes, press into the earth, lift the hips, press the chest past the nose, or just in theory, and slowly lowering. Taking it to the edge of the space that you made before. Last time, lift up and hold. Press in the heels, lift the hips, keep the breath flowing, and then slowly lower. Now we'll lift the left leg, left ankle, aims for outside of the right thigh, if that feels good. Perhaps taking the left hand and pressing the left thigh away from the chest, creating space, breathing deeply here, squared hips. The entire spinal column is on the ground. If this doesn't feel like enough, bring the right thigh in towards the torso, finding behind the thigh or on top of the shin. Noticing without judgment how this side feels when compared to the other. Perhaps using your own elbow to try to line your knees up to each other, squaring the hips, slight tuck of the chin towards the chest, and just breathe. Staying right here. On every exhale, squeezing the right thigh closer towards the chest, enjoying that stretch. Or press the right foot into the earth. Lift the hips. Press the left knee down, trying to line the knees up with each other, even if they're not there today, just the effort of finding that balance. Lifting the hips, hands can be down by the side, pressing into the finger pads. Lift the hips, square the knees in line with each other. Deep breath. Notice where the effort is and send the breath there. Staying right here, or lifting the left leg towards the sky and then slowly lower the hips and then lift back up. One-legged bridge. I think sometimes people call it bridge ups because we're going up and down. Last time, lift, recross, slowly lower, reset, release the ankle, knees knock in, feet out wide. Hand to the left hand to the heart, right hand to the low belly. Notice the efforting. Going to come up to a comfortable seated position. So option to roll over onto your side and walk yourself up, or option to cross at the ankles and rock and roll along the spinal column as you build momentum to find yourself in a seated position. So either momentum building or rolling over, and we'll all come into a comfortable seated position wherever we are. Perhaps rolling up the back of your mat, using a towel, bolster, sweatshirt, something to lift your hips if that feels good for you. We'll now move into the upper back and the shoulders. Inhale, reaching the arms up overhead. Exhale, bind the left arm around the right, squaring almost like you're creating a little frame for your head and your neck. Inhale, lift the chest, straighten the neck, and then exhale, drop towards your right knee, scrape across the ground, lift up and around, come back to center. We'll take that 2 more times. The movement can be as small or as big as feels comfortable for you. Last time. And come back to center. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead and switch it to the other side. Just finding a little bit of fluidity in the mid-back, upper back, and the shoulders. Again, this movement can be as big or as small as feels good for you. Perhaps you're staying right here, letting that spine articulate. Exhale, release the arms down by your side. Inhale, reach the arms up. Lift the left arm up high and right hand reaches for the ground. Lengthen both sides of the body. So yes, this side is getting a little bit longer, but the side you're leaning into is also thinking about lengthening and taking space. Deep breath in. Left hand comes to the right knee. Right hand comes to the left knee. Now you're bound. Exhale, release the chin towards the chest. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the gaze. Modified cat-cow. One more time. Squeeze the chin towards the chest, spread across the upper back. Lift the chest, lift the gaze. Then we'll come into our eagle wrap. So back of palms or front of palms together, or stacking our elbows. Option to inhale, lift the fingertips up, and exhale, fully fold. We'll do this for a couple more breath cycles. So perhaps you want to keep the movement small but purposeful on center, or you want to inhale, lift the fingers towards the sky, and exhale, plant the forearms on the ground. So move like you. We're here a couple more breaths, maybe closing the eyes, really feeling into the upper shoulders, upper back. With whatever variation you've taken, come back on center. Exhale, release the bind. Inhale, reach, lengthen both sides of the body. Lift the right armpit up, left hand comes down to the ground. Lengthen both sides of the body. So I'm saying ground, but it could be a stack of books, it could be a table, it could be blocks. As we lengthen both sides of the body, and hinge over to the side. Deep breath in.
Exhale, right hand to left knee or thigh. Left hand to right knee or thigh. We're bound the opposite way now. Chin towards chest, squeeze it in. Inhale, rock forward, lift up. Exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale, look up, lift up. Inhale, rising up, stacked palms, back of palms or front of palms. Inhaling, lifting up, and exhaling, squeezing in. So it's just a flexion and extension of the spine, and it can be small right here or fully exaggerating towards the sky and exhaling, folding forward. We're here a couple breath cycles. Take your time, breathe. Maybe trying one breath cycle with one variation and then another. And wherever you are, unwind, reach up, and exhale, release the hands by your side. Roll the shoulders up, down, and back. And then we'll take a little bit of a neck opener by bringing our left hand to the back of our body, or perhaps walking it all the way around the body and interlacing the hands. So you can just have the back of the palm at the low back, internally rotating at the shoulder, and then the hand can come to the hip, or you can interlace the hands by the side and wing the elbows behind you. Maybe closing the eyes, not worrying about where the elbows are or what the wingspan looks like, and just feeling what's happening in the neck and upper back. On your next exhale, drop your right ear towards your right shoulder, breathing into the sensations that arise. Release any tension in the legs. Drop the chin towards the chest, trace the collarbone, and come over onto the other side. For some bodies, this side feels more intense, and for some bodies, the other side feels more intense. So we like to do both from this one posture. Let the chin drop towards the chest, the arms reach down behind you. Lift the chest, lift the gaze, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Hold here for a full inhale in and out. And then exhale, release. Hands can come back to the thighs. And just notice what feels different on the left or right, where the blood is rushing, where your energy is going. And we'll take it to the other side. So right hand comes to the small of the low back, or walks around trying to reach for the opposite arm. Option to interlace the fingers and wing the elbows behind you. So just lift the chest, spread across the collarbone, and squeeze the shoulder blades. The action can look more like this, or it can be pulled behind. Maybe closing the eyes, letting go of what the posture looks like, and go inside. What does it feel like? Dropping the left ear towards the left shoulder. Staying for a full inhale and exhale. Drop the chin towards the chest. And take it to the other side. Right ear towards right shoulder. Deep breath in and out. Stay. Exhale, drop the chin. Release the arms behind you, wing them back, perhaps reaching for the earth, and then lift the chest, lift the gaze. Expansive. Deep breath in. Exhale, release the back bend and settle. Option to take the hands onto the ridge of the shoulders and just give yourself a gentle shoulder/neck massage, perhaps going in one direction and then the other with your finger pads, just feeling the blood, feeling the energy moving through. And then let it go and feel any echoes of your own self-touch or the movement in the shoulders. And exhale, let it go. We'll close with 6 deep breaths in and out. Perhaps staying seated, palms down on the thighs or palms lifted up. Perhaps you rock to your side and find a wall or a chair to lift your legs up and find legs up the wall posture. Or maybe coming all the way into Shavasana, just letting the legs go long, the back body press into the earth, palms towards the sky. Whatever variation you choose, I'll encourage you to inhale and exhale for 6 full counts. If your mind wanders, perhaps reminding yourself, I am breathing in, I am breathing out. Begin to let your breath return to its normal pace, maybe gently fluttering your eyes open and rolling yourself up to a comfortable seated position or whatever posture you need to go to next. Maybe taking some shoulder rolls, maybe moving in the hips, and remembering that your practice, these physical postures, can be there wherever and whenever you need it. You can wrap your hand behind your back and lift your chest when you're standing in line. You can squeeze your thigh into your chest and release that low back. So let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to email me. I look forward to seeing you in our next session. Thanks for joining.